Brought to you by DIS, keeping companies connected with cloud-based solutions. Come on, City.
Hi there, Kai. It's Adam from BBC. How are you?
I'm not bad, are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well, yes. Thanks for doing this.
No problem.
First time I spoke to you, so congratulations on the run you're on. It's impressive.
Yeah, it's obviously nice feeling. Yeah, brilliant.
Can we start with team news then ahead of Mansfield? We know Andy Cook's not available for you, is he? But anything else you can tell us?
Not really. Obviously, it was a good win, and only thing that really changed is Cookie's unavailability, and we've got a decision to make on who to put in his position, and we'll hopefully make the right call.
What are your options there, and how are you thinking?
Obviously, we've got a lot of different options in that position. Obviously, we've got Danny Rowe, who played before Cookie arrived, really, and he was the 9 that was playing most games. We've obviously got Clayton, who's very experienced and still causes threats to the opposition. We've also got Roman as well. We've got Charles Vernon, who can play in that position. So we've got options in that position, yeah.
Can I ask you about some of the other players? How close are they to return, like Bryce Zana and Lee Novak, for example?
Bryce, I said it last week as well. He's around a 2-week mark, we believe. He's currently outside when the first team are training. He's doing little bits with the physios. So we're ticking him over and looking for a possible return as soon as possible.
And how about? Sorry,
I was just going to answer the Lee Novak one as well. We had a little bit of a setback with Lee, and he's probably not going to be available for the next few weeks.
So that makes it even more impressive, does it not, that you've managed to adapt despite the injury situation? Yeah,
it's something that every team has to deal with, and we're no different with that. And the January window was really important for us to strengthen in depth, and we've managed to do that in the positions that we needed.
How far is Billy Clark away from maybe starting, Conor?
He obviously came on the last game and had an impact, and like I said before, he's a great character. So we're looking to build his minutes up. He was a starter before his injury, so he'll be looking to get back into the team as soon as possible. But we've got a job to do and make sure he returns safely.
And Gareth Evans wasn't starting on Saturday. What's the situation with him at the moment?
Yeah, he went off and the game before last, and he sort of had a little niggle and went down the tunnel. It's not a bad one. I said we had some good news on it. So hopefully, soon, touch and go maybe for tomorrow, but we'll see.
And just on one more player, Jordan Stevens, how's his progress been with you? You're finding him since he's arrived, essentially from Leeds? Yeah,
John's a really talented player, and he's having to sort of fight for his minutes. He's had a few opportunities, and I think he just got to keep impressing when he does come off the bench. But what I would say is his mentality when he does come on, and we've been often in front in the game, and he's come on and had to really work for the team and do his defensive part, and which he's more than happy to do as well.
How much did you learn from your side at the weekend, Conor? Because I know you talked about it being an ugly win as such, but you can find beauty in that, can't you, as well?
Yeah, 100%. When you look at the mental attributes of the players and what they have to go through, and when teams are throwing a lot of bodies in the box, players have to adapt quickly and respond to those problems and find the solutions. Probably would say personally, the performance in the last 20 minutes in terms of the organisation wasn't probably where it needed to be. The players are aware of that, but I think from the mentality and the grit that they needed to take to win the game was top draw, like you say, yeah.
Got a chat to Ollie before, who's quite an impressive individual, really, and he's talked about, obviously the feeling since he's come into the club quite recently, but analysis is a huge thing, as you say. Would you say that you and Mark are particularly like a sort of the new breed of coaches now that are totally on top of all the stats and the analysis and the useful data, if you like?
I think we just we found a way of working. you go on courses as coaches, and you learn new things, and you start to adapt and find what works for you. I probably wouldn't say that we're a new breed or anything like that. We just like knowing as much as we can about the opponents and preparing as well as we can.
What do you think then has been sort of the biggest influence that you've had? Because it has been some incredible turnaround.
In terms of?
To make this sort of winning mentality and to get the team playing how they needed to play to get the results in this division, because it wasn't happening before.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of factors involved. We can't put it down to just me and Mark and the staff. The players have got to perform. Hopefully we've given them some clarity and they've gone and done the job. But again, we've had the window, and we've tried to strengthen and make sure that we've got players who are on the bench who can impact the game and change the game. And I think the camaraderie around the place and the building is really good, and people get on, and everybody who's in the building, we had a choice. We wanted everybody to work as hard as they can, to go over and beyond. If that's as a staff member, if that's as a player, we want to instill that you got to work for what you get. So that's probably the biggest thing, that the winning mentality and the competitive drive.
And are you expecting Mansfield to be far different from the side that Bradford played early on in the season and won pretty well, actually?
Yeah, obviously they got a new manager who's been in there for a couple of months now, I think, and they went on a fantastic run. We've seen a lot of them. We're impressed by how they play and the energies that they use. So I think again it's going to be a real tough test.
And just finally, Conor, the next thing will be managing expectations, won't it? If this run continues, because everybody's talking about how close you are to the top end of the table rather than being at the bottom end.
Yeah, we just keep level, we keep grounded, we keep approaching the next game the same as the last in terms of trying to win, trying to be positive, and doing our best to perform.
Good luck with it, Conor, as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hi, Conor.
Hi.
As you say, you're taking it every game as it comes, just only looking to the next game. But the remit when you came in was to save the club from relegation out of the Football League. And pretty much you've done that, and certainly in terms of points and league position, you're closer to the top of the table. At what point do you reassess the goal of what you want from the club this season?
I think again with the mentality that we have, and everybody, the club's in the same boat where we're not getting too ahead of ourselves in any way at all. We're again approaching every game in the same manner, where we go out there and we give our best. If things change down the line and things happen, we might potentially have conversations, but ultimately our goal is to win the next game and have that mindset, and that's how we're working.
And with the way that the season has gone since Christmas, obviously teams are coming, as Orient did, and sitting in and making it more difficult to play. How pleased have you been with the fact that you're still winning games? You can grind and win out, as well as win one with great football.
Well, it's brilliant. Again, we talk about solutions and finding the right balance. And there's some games that we've not had much of the possession, or we've been dominated, and there's other games where we've dominated possession and still won. So I think the key for us is to make sure we're a winning team. If that's by playing a certain way, we can adapt and we can change our game plan to affect the opponents, hopefully, and that's what we're trying to do as a team.
It seems that the team are willing to adapt during the game as well, and that must be another pleasing factor for you and Mark, that they do take on the instructions you're giving them. Yeah,
it's brilliant, for the players to be able to adapt and change against different formations and adapt their style of play against different formations. So the guys have been first class. Hopefully they're starting to understand what we want from them in terms of the tactical way of playing, and I think over time they're just going to get better at it.
And it sort of become muscle memory almost, that they know what to do in each situation.
Yeah, I think you know, when you put a team together, and, you know, I'm not talking about Bradford City, but if you see a team that's played together for a number of years, they start building those relationships and building those chemistry, you know, that chemistry, where they know each other's games, and our job is to try and do that quickly.
Okay, thanks very much. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
But the last 20 minutes, as you said then, about, you know, perhaps the team went away from a little, you know, got a little bit complacent. Is that something that you've had to address? You know, just sort of remind players that, you know, not to sort of think the job's done just when it, you know, because it looked comfortable up to that stage.
I don't necessarily think it was because of they didn't want to. I think it was more of the case it was quite a heavy pitch. There's a big, you know, backlog of games where, you know, you can be mentally fatigued as well as physically fatigued, and I felt towards the end we looked like we just lost a little bit of concentration, and they were quite random in the way that they were attacking, which sort of changed how we had to defend and who had who kind of thing. So I don't think it was because of their mentality. I just think it was, you know, maybe subconsciously affected for a period of time.
And as you say, but getting over the line, you know,
yeah,
was just important
massive.
because it was just another way of winning a game, wasn't it, as you sort of said?
Yeah, massive, you know, for the guys, and to come under that pressure and to still win the game, and, you know, there was a lot going on, but again, you can't question their endeavour and their work rate and their aggression and their determination was all there to be seen.
And inevitably, when a team's doing well, you get the speculation popping up. I see one of the Sunday papers linking Elliot Watt with Hull. I mean, is that something that you're going to expect if the team's playing well, you know, and performing? Yeah,
it's every club. Players play well, they get linked with teams who are in higher leagues or in a higher position. So Elliot's just got to, you know, and I know he's that kind of character where he's not going to let it affect him. He's just going to make sure that he keeps putting performances in. I
suppose it's a compliment for the team as a whole, isn't it? If players are getting noticed, and whether there's anything in this talk, at least it's for the right reasons they're getting mentioned, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's part and parcel of it. If you're going to get, you know, interest from other clubs from a higher division, you're obviously doing something right. But the skill is to do it consistently. You know, but again, he's a Bradford City player, and he's gonna give everything to the cause.
Yeah, I suppose, and with the younger lads in the dressing room, it's just a case of making sure they don't get their heads turned by things that might not be happening anyway. Yeah,
exactly. And, you know, a rumour from a paper, you know, it might actually be nothing. You know, you do hear things that happen like that. So we've just got to keep everybody level-headed and working on the next game, and that's Mansfield tomorrow night.
And as I say, in terms of Mansfield, obviously, I mean, you know, you look at their run recently, it sort of almost sums up this league, doesn't it? They had a fantastic winning run, and then a spell without a win. Obviously, got a win again at the weekend. I mean, it's, you know, it's been like that almost all season for almost everybody, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and, you know, it's so tight between the places and in the league table. So you know, that's why you can't ever, you know, lose concentration on the next game. You know, this is why we talk about the next game as in it is, because it's so important, because as you see, you know, Southend are beating top teams and things like that, and, you know, we've got to be ready for playing the top of the table or the bottom. You know, we've got a job to do.
I suppose, you know, people can get a bit wrapped up and quite excited by the form table. Obviously, yourselves, Bolton, you know, Tranmere have done great guns in recent games, but you know, it's probably a warning that can suddenly change, can't it?
Yeah, you know, I think Mansfield went on 5 on the bounce where they won, and then they found themselves in a bit of poor form in the next couple of games. So, you know, we just want to try and make sure that doesn't happen to us, but ultimately we've got to be mindful that, you know, teams lose games, you know, and we're no different, and teams are going to come here and be better than us on the day, and we've got to, you know, roll up our sleeves and make sure we're ready for the fight.
Brought to you by DIS, keeping companies connected with cloud-based solutions. Come on, City.